My people, what up, though? We back with another episode of All Black Men Need Therapy. My name is Chief.
And I'm Bell.
My name is Prentice.
I feel like I don't have enough energy in that intro. Maybe we should get something new, man. I got to come up with something new now.
Maybe we just need to get a new person.
I mean, that works too. We just fire yourself. You're done. It's over for you. It's over for you. Yeah. What's good though, fellas? Yo, it's been way too long. Like way too long.
It really hasn't been that long.
It's been too long for me.
Okay, that's fair.
So I'm gonna check in. we gonna go all around. I'm checking in first. Chief, how you doing? I'm good. How you? No, that's crazy nigga talk right there. Talk to himself.
And you're the only one laughing at yourself.
Right. Hey, bro. You can't laugh at yourself. You know what I mean? Anyways, all is well, fellas. I'm doing good.
How you feel? You feel kind of stupid right now?
No, not at all. Never that.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I don't gotta impress you. You know what I mean? I feel good.
You sound. I don't know.
I'm healthy. I'm happy. I'm working. I'm busy. Matter of fact, P, I got a piece that's been kicking my ass. I'm gonna send it to you. See what I need some help. It's been kicking my ass.
For the right price, I can even make your shit tighter. Let me know, man. Let me know what you need. That's Carter, Ghost Rider.
Yeah. Other than that, man, yeah, I don't got nothing to really go on. I'm chilling, yo. I don't got no news. I mean, I'm straight. Go ahead. What's good?
So I think it's been 2 weeks since we recorded. Probably, or at least 2 weeks since we dropped. Maybe even longer since we recorded because I know we had doubled up 1 week. But nonetheless, not a lot's happened. I'm currently renovating. We got a rental property. I'm renovating the bathroom, and I'm not going to say the name of the company unless they give me some hassles. And then
in case they want to sponsor us in the future.
Right.
Well, not even that. If they don't give me my money back, they're going to hear from me. But yeah, man, I don't know if it got to do with the supply chain and being understaffed or whatnot. But man, they manhandle all my stuff. Like my vanity, I got a 2-sink vanity. Yo, that joint came and it looked like somebody took a hammer and just knocked off the corner just to piss you off. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's the front corner. If it was the back corner, I'd have been like, man, whatever. I'm not going through this whole process.
Right.
Then I got a not awkward, but where the toilet is, it's a corner toilet. So it's a special made to order bowl. You know what I'm saying? It's a triangle tank. And my uncle's my contractor. He went to install it. He's like, yeah, I got some more bad news. He's like, I ain't even opened the box. He's like, I poked the hole in and the whole bowl cracked in half. I'm like, who is handling this stuff?
Yeah, that's the shipping team just throwing that joint on the truck.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
but how you throw a van? Like what y'all like a tag team and did that thing? Like you throwing a whole vanity? Like that joint big. But anyway, I got that going on. That's really it, man. I don't do much, man. I just been chilling. I ain't really got a lot going on.
Much.
Yeah.
What's that? So is that Beanie?
Beanie, yeah.
Yup.
I'm trying to think. I did go to a new restaurant out here. That was pretty cool. Boston
Nobody want to hear that shit. Pete, what's up?
Fucked up.
Talk about new restaurants in Boston. Somebody care about that shit. Pete,
the funny thing is, every week you used to ask me what's new in Boston. Now all of a sudden you don't want to hear about my Boston stories.
No, I don't want to hear about it. Today ain't the day.
So just real quick to all our fans.
Shout out. Pete,
all our fans,
what's good?
We have an opening. We need another host. Chief the Poet will no longer be with us after this episode. All apply. Thank you.
Hey, I shut this whole shit down. Won't nobody be on the podcast.
Delete this motherfucker completely, nigga.
Right.
All qualified do apply.
All black men going to a funeral. That's what it is. The hell you talking about? Hey, P, what's good? Check in, yo.
Oh shit, man. I'm gonna start with the good, man. So I got a feeling this may take up the whole fucking conversation, but I'm I'm currently sitting on the rooftop, man. You know, we got a new spot out of nowhere. How it came about was really kind of God's will, man. I got me a whole ass rooftop deck, like a whole ass one.
Prentice got a rooftop, y'all. So
Yeah.
be anticipating hella videos of him rehearsing and performing on his rooftop.
Hey, you already know. I'm about to live up here.
That's a whole venue in itself.
It really is, man. You're about to have Shy birthday party up here next month, man. We're about to make it happen.
There you go.
So yeah, so you know, we're blessed, man. Like it's a surreal feeling. It's a dope feeling, surreal feeling, man. But it's definitely forward progress for the family. So, you know, I'm amazed by that. Outside of that, since we haven't recorded, it was actually time where like Chief, he was like, you know, it's been too long for you. I think I needed it because I didn't want to talk to nobody. Like I didn't want to talk to nobody. And I don't know if it was the energy. I don't know if I even willed it a little bit, but since we've talked, it's definitely been one of them times, you know, when like you don't want to talk to nobody and it's good that you don't. You get what I'm saying? Like do you get what I'm saying? Like I know.
Yeah, sure. When I read your post about the black man the other day, and it says something, you know, like talking about just God's will and how things happen, you know what I'm saying, how everything comes into fruition. Like I think it's just cool how in this particular moment where we didn't record, but it served you justice versus.
And it's interesting because remember we was talking before, I think on the last podcast or the one before that, how I was talking about how there be hella good that comes now and then there be bad, you know what I mean? But the bad isn't a direct result of my behavior, it's outside sources. And I'm handling it easier because I have good things happening in my life as well. So it doesn't feel like a downfall. But I can either go two ways, but and I'm gonna be candid and honest because I'm in a really, really tight space. And I know the one that's bothering me more, man. Without putting the details, because I care about my son, my oldest, man. I found out some things about my son while he was in Florida that are just like unforgivable for me on behalf of his mother, man. And you know, we talked offline about it, so you know what's up. But I'm really struggling with where I'm at right now, man. Like having to control my emotions, being very angry, being very upset, but knowing that he's watching me. You know, the dynamics in the situation have him involved when he should have never been. You get what I'm saying? And I'm finding myself right now at a space where my integrity and my emotions are really being challenged. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel really, really, really violated. I feel really disrespected to the utmost, but I have my son now. You get what I'm saying? Like I'm the primary now. And that was always the goal. And I'm trying to allow that to be the thing that keeps my integrity intact, that, you know, I can't publicly get on a platform and express my frustration because that don't do nothing for my son. You know what I'm saying? Like that doesn't serve any good, but I'm struggling because I tried to address it with his mom and that conversation didn't go well and made things even worse. And my son feels it and he knows it because what I discovered, I had to use, unfortunately, this as an example to teach him a couple of life lessons, but at the expense of it being through his mother, if that makes sense. You know, like there were certain actions and behavior that was taking place that, in my opinion, is absolutely unacceptable. Under no circumstances do you do. And I'm having to teach him why it's wrong, and him being involved in it, he didn't understand why it was wrong. And I can keep going, but I just, my integrity, I feel like is being challenged right now, man. And I'm having to be this stand-up person despite feeling disrespected and continue to feel disrespected. And again, he's watching and he already feels something as a result of, you know, passing this information down to me. You get what I'm saying? So
yeah,
I get
exactly what you're saying.
I don't know how to, it's hard, man, because a relationship will never be the same. You get what I'm saying? And this one is hard
exactly what you're saying.
I know other people are gonna hear it, but I don't give a fuck because this is real shit that I really got to try to figure out. But I had to tell him like, yo, you know, he was like, man, so she's not invited to the wedding? I was like, nah, man, I'm sorry. You know, after this, this is, you know what I mean? This is something that I deem as unforgivable. And unfortunately, I'm going to have to change how I interact with your mother. You know, he's used to seeing me, you know, we real key, ha, and get along. But after this, you know, I can't do it. You get what I'm saying? And I don't know how to move forward with tact necessarily and feel like I'm getting my emotions and feelings out about it while being who I need to be in his eyes. Does that make sense?
It makes more sense to me than you even know. So I went through, and I obviously know the situation, but I went through something more severe, right? More severe than that. And with my daughter's mother. And it took me to a dark place when it happened. You know what I'm saying? And it took me to a dark place because pride, right? Obviously, ego, and more or less just like, on what planet do you think that this is acceptable? So I'm gonna show you why it's not. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's where my mind went. You know what I'm saying? Like, I put it this way. I just told my daughter probably like, this had to be like 2 months ago, 3 months ago. When all this stuff happened, I shipped her down to Texas, you know what I'm saying, to be with my sister for the summer. Because I had custody of my daughter. I've had custody of my daughter since she was 3. And I shipped her down there because I went to a dark place. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I don't need her to be around this because I'm getting ready to do something. You know what I mean? And
he tried to pull me into his mess too, P. But go ahead.
no, I actually tried to keep him out, and he tried to pull himself in. So,
all right.
But that's the type of time I was on. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I don't need nobody with me because I already know what I'm about to do. You know, and I don't want to get nobody tied up into this. And it took a couple people, more than one. A little bit of time had passed. You know, the saying, you know, to give time to allow the cooler heads to prevail or whatever. And it was a little bit of both. It was a little bit of allowing time to calm me down. Some people that I really respected to calm me down. And basically what they told me was, in short, without giving too many details, it basically is like, what was done happened. Nobody was physically hurt. Nobody was affected, like, as a result. Right. It could have went very badly, but nobody was affected as a result. And I had custody, just like you, right? So for me, it was like, I got to be the example because I'm all she got, right? And obviously that's not the exact same situation, but for me, it was like, you got to be the example. You can't go there because nothing good's coming from it. Nothing good's coming from it. And it took a lot. But what I did is, you know, and again, I'm not saying this is the blueprint. I'm just telling you what I did. What I did, man, is I just cut communication completely. You know, she didn't cut communication with her mom, but I cut communication. Like, just because it was like, when I say I cut communication, Pete, I didn't speak to her for 10 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally, I didn't speak to her for 10 years. And the only time, ironically, I spoke to her was to tell her there was an event happening that she couldn't attend. You know what I'm saying? And that was the only comment. And I explained to her why, you know, why I haven't spoken to her and why she can't attend.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that was that, you know, and she's gone on her life. She's doing what she's doing. I'm doing what I'm doing. But I don't know how it would have ended if I would have acted on my emotion. You know what I mean? But my number one priority was my daughter.
And that's the hard part. Like, he's the priority, but for me, the reason why it upsets me is because had I known this information, had I been privy to this information, like I told you offline, I would have understood why some of his behavior when he first got to me was the way it was. I would understand why he's responding this way in this dynamic, why he needs certain things. And here I am trying to start to get this boy to start to put his chin up and his chest out a little bit when he needs to be fucking loved on because of the dynamics or certain circumstances.
Yeah. Right.
And I feel like because I wasn't privy to this information and I was lied to about the information, I can't do my job as a father properly because I don't know what was going on with my son in totality when he was out in Florida. So here I am thinking I'm approaching fatherhood a certain way when I need to be approaching it a different way due to these circumstances that he brought to my attention. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
And I feel like as a parent, you don't have your child lie to the other parent. You get what I'm saying? Like, you don't do that for reasons that aren't ethical.
So
and that's my biggest thing with this, bro. Like, this was not a little deal, and I don't know how to fake it no more. You know what I'm saying? And my thing now is that he's gonna have to look at the dynamic and circumstances differently now because of this situation. And I'm not about to protect nobody. You know what I'm saying? I'm not about to, you know, and not to say that anybody needs protection, but as he gets older, if he discovers or learns certain things, what am I supposed to do about that? Especially being in this position.
So here's, if I may, I've been just writing down little notes when listening to both of y'all talk. So let me rock for a minute and feel free to take down notes and counter my counter my points or whatever. But I'm listening to you all speak, and P, you said a couple things in there, and this my responses might go in different directions, but I'm gonna try to touch on the things that you said.
Yeah.
And listen to what you're saying. One, justice, you're right, is the focal point.
Yeah.
And that has to be matters of priority. You have to, not that you have to, but it's important to be mindful that regardless of what happened, what's done is done. Now we have to move forward. And how you do that is, and I know you know, but how you do that has to be very delicate, just because ultimately this is one of those things that we carry as children that we don't know, that ends up impacting us in the long run.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So justice is probably, some of this justice is going to hold on to. And depending upon, but I'm saying, and depending upon how you handle it and how y'all handle it, is going to ultimately impact his future down the road. This, like in the moment right now, he's going to deal with the emotions, but this can have a long-term effect that we have to be able to tailor to, at least have him look back at it and go, my dad handled it this way. And this is kind of how I want to respond when I face myself in this type of challenge, because you are now a living example of how to overcome adversity for this young man.
I hear you. Here's the problem. He feels like he's to blame for my position now. He feels like he is wrong for being placed in a situation he had no business even being in.
And I'm certain you've had the conversation more than once about him having no blame or fault in this.
Right.
However,
and easier said than done when it comes to your mama.
Right. But in the same token, the dynamics between the situation that Bell just mentioned and you mentioned are drastically different, still the same essence behind the situation, but they're drastically different. It's tough because I think your approach, like you have to co-parent. Bell didn't have that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You have to co-parent.
And that's what makes it harder, because
and you have to be very mindful of that, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so remember how I told you the other day, and this is, obviously not about me, but I'm like, I'm getting to the point where I'm like about to ask them to like take family pictures just for the sake of having them. But we have to bite the bullet for that as in men. So you have to you have to bite the bullet, but you gotta unfortunate, you don't have to, but as a way to demonstrate to your son leadership and the ability to be quote unquote the stronger person, you got to kind of bite the bullet. Let her know how you feel. This is how I feel. This is how you made me feel. This is how our son is feeling as a result of your actions. But in order to coexist as parents, this is how I'm feeling. This is what I'm going to be doing moving forward. And we have to communicate effectively only about our son. And you got to kind of strip. You have to. I'm listening to you, Pete, and I feel like I know what we go through when it comes to our kids, what we're willing to do when it comes to our kids. So anything that happens to them as detrimental weighs on us heavy. You have to stop. You have to feel less hurt and disrespected. And all that. In order
the bottom, not the bottom line. One of the points it sounds like Chief is trying to make is not to oversimplify it, but it's not about you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I feel you.
Like,
yeah.
Totally. Like you're entitled to all those feelings and raw emotion, right? Like, yes, right? Then the old saying, right? You can't control what people do to you, only how you respond. Obviously, your response is heightened because of the dynamic, right? The protector, right? You want to, these things, right. All these things you wish you could have known, you know, and you would have moved different, you would have did this. So now you're holding yourself responsible for your actions, but based on the limited information that you had. Right? Well, shit, if I would have known that, I wouldn't have moved like that. I would have moved like this. You know what I'm saying? But here's what I can tell you. We're not talking about, based on what I know about the situation, we're not talking about years of this happening.
No.
Right?
No.
You know what I'm saying? So one, it was a very small window of time, and it's been a small window of time since it's happened. So it's like, bro, you can still make an impact. Like this doesn't have to have lasting impact, right? It doesn't have to. How you handle it will determine that, right? So, you know, it's, and I'm not trying to oversimplify this, but I'm just really good for me. Like one, I'm a visual learner, and two, I'm good with examples, right? So it's like you got a little kid. I say the little kid is say they know how to walk, but they're not strong on their feet yet. You ever notice like when the kid falls and an adult they're like, oh my God, are you okay? The kid reacts, right?
Yeah. And when you don't say nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas you don't say nothing, they'll just get up like nothing happened. And again, I'm not trying to oversimplify it, but what I am saying is you can't be held responsible for what you didn't know and how you responded based on what you didn't know. But now you know.
Yeah.
Right? So now you can't change what happened. And again, easier said than done, bro. I'm not sitting here telling you like just snap out of it, right? That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is as a man, as an adult, you're in control, right? One, right? I do understand you have to co-parent school vacations, all that stuff. I understand that. But he's with you now, right? Like you don't have to necessarily alter your parenting style. You can be you with the information that you have, right? And because he's watching, bro. He's watching, you know that. And right? Just as watching. So he knows what's happening. Whether or not you guys are explicitly talking about it, he feels it, he knows you, right? So
and that's the thing. So, like go ahead, Chief, my bad.
No, so I wanted to, so Bell making some good point, but like ultimately, one, people teach you how to treat them. So you have an invaluable lesson now in regards to how you want to handle your situation with the mom. Secondly, and this is me, I'm going here because I want you to look at it like this. Do you think how you responded has a lot to do with why justice is so triggered? Or why it's weighing on? Do you think, let me rephrase the question. If you
absolutely,
do you think you could have responded a little bit differently to take some of the weight off of how justice feels now?
Okay.
Because I know you, P.
Yeah, no, yeah,
I know how you get
honestly,
when you get to that level. Like it's a lash, and then you got to dial yourself back.
So this is what it was, because he didn't want me to tell her after he basically slipped and told me and had to tell me, because he was scared she was going to be mad at him. He didn't want me to tell her, so I was placed in this position like I gotta say something, but my son just slipped, but is also confiding in me in this information, is put in this position where he feels like he's being disloyal to both people at the same time. And my only way to get him to understand that it was wrong was to tell him what was wrong about it. You get what I'm saying? Like, he didn't see anything wrong about it. That was one. He didn't see anything wrong with it. So one, I can't talk to her because he's scared and thinks he's going to get in trouble. But two, he needs to understand why this is wrong. And as a father, you don't ever do anything like that. You better not. You get what I'm saying? And so, yeah, I could have responded differently, but the only response I feel I had in the time, because yes, I was also thinking about myself and my emotions, was I can use my emotions for this to be a teachable moment for him. The thing that sucks most is that I'm using his mom as a fucking teachable moment. And for a 13-year-old boy, it fucking sucks. It's life.
Right.
But who wants to break down a scenario with their child using the other parent, and you can't protect the other parent? You can't, because this action, this behavior is unacceptable as a father to you. You get what I'm saying?
So I'm putting myself in your shoes, and I've grown into a way where I don't even like raise my voice at these women no more. I don't curse at them no more. Like, and I'm at the point now where, like, Bell, I used to go off. Like,
yeah, I'm just saying, like, yo, that bar was real low. It's like, I don't yell at him, I don't swear at him.
No, I'm saying, like, I don't, there's no more confrontation at all. Like, anything that I feel tension about, I address in a manner where, like, I'm not even, like, I'm talking way louder now than I would to them in the middle of the most tense moment.
Yo, I'm gonna give both of y'all some advice, only because I have the oldest child of the three of us. So, Prentice, you did exactly what you were supposed to do, right? And tried to educate. Here's what I'm gonna tell you, bro. You didn't have to. And I'm gonna explain. So, my daughter growing up, right? It was, that's a whole other episode, but I made it a point.
We still gotta have that episode.
Yeah, no. I made it a point to never shed any negative light on her mom whatsoever.
Yeah.
Right? So just let me just finish real quick. Regardless, right? Regardless of what? Like that situation that happened 12, 13 years ago, like I said, she just recently found out about that. One day, she was like 14. She was with her grandmother. She came home and just like apologized for a lot of stuff that she didn't know. And like you, right? And Justice is responding and reacting off your emotion potentially with certain situations. She was reacting and responding off her mom's emotion in certain situations. So as a result, I kind of got the short end of the stick because I wasn't saying anything necessarily one, I didn't know what was being said, and I wasn't saying anything to combat what was being said regardless. And then one day she came home and she just apologized, cried, and all this stuff because she realized a lot of the stuff that she thought was true wasn't true, right? But that was because she was ready to receive that information. You know what I'm saying? So I say that to say there's certain lessons, P, that you don't have to explicitly teach, even though it feels like this needs to be taught. It will be understood in the time frame in which it should be understood. You may not have control over that. You know what I mean? Where man, this is so crazy. I was literally just having a conversation with my daughter today. She called me about some work stuff and she just wanted to know how she should handle it. And what she said to me was, you taught me when I was younger that adult business is adult business, right? So don't involve a child in adult's business is what she literally said that to me today. You know what I'm saying? And again, that was definitely a teachable moment based on what I know about the story. And it is what it is. But what I'm saying is he's going to get older. He's going to get more mature and he's going to have these realizations. He's not going to need you to say anything.
I know.
He's going to come to you like, oh, you know, Dad, that wasn't this. I was thinking about that. That was crazy, right? You know what I'm saying?
And so for me, I totally feel you. I don't mean to cut you off, Bill, but I want to add to that. Like for me, in my heart, I know he's gonna have them moments. And you know, like I'm proud of myself for talking about this on our podcast, honestly, because I never would before. If this incident didn't happen, I wouldn't. And I still feel I'd have these same emotions, just minus this incident to add. But I feel like I know he will, in my personal opinion. That's just how I feel. I know he will. And I also know what that feels like as a child to find out things about your parents later on as an adult and then have to process those, which is a whole nother subject that I was going to bring up and talk about, but this is the first one. And we got to talk about that one too, because that's going to fuck y'all heads up. But I know what it's like to find out shit later.
Yeah.
I know what it's like to have to process. I don't know what it's like to have a father and go through that. You know what I'm saying? But I do know what that feeling's like, and that saddens me for the fucking future. You get what I'm saying? That saddens me for when the moment comes. So in my head, I'm like, yo, if the day comes,
meet it head on.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, if the day comes when he puts some things together and may develop a new perspective or opinion, how do I kind of pad that moment? No matter how harsh or gentle or delicate it is, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't, because right now it's fucking with him. Like all of a sudden he's going from seeing his dad, who's always been cool with his mom, to being like, yo, I cannot fool with your mom no more. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking to her about co-parenting, but I can't. And he's asking if she coming to the wedding. I feel like these questions are kind of forcing me to explain more than, like you said, adult business is adult business. However, he was unnecessarily placed in this. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
So he knows what's up. So I feel like I'm in this situation now where I got to clean up and do all the collateral damage. And I'm fine with that because I was built for this shit. You know what I'm saying? That's one. Mm-hmm. That's not the problem. It's just that I wouldn't have never did that. I just feel so, like as a parent, I feel like there's a threshold you just don't cross.
Now we're getting somewhere. So here's the deal.
You don't cross. And we done beefed and fought, and we done went to town with the worst, but there's just certain thresholds you don't cross. And it was crossed, and there's no way I can go back ever. Just to create my boundaries, even. You get what I'm saying? Like even for my boundaries and my new sense of growth, there's no way I can go back. So now I gotta get a 13-year-old to understand that, who doesn't really understand and has his own separate emotions with the whole issue as it is. You get what I'm saying? So there's so many different aspects I now have to clean up, which I'm okay with. It frustrates me because it just feels so disrespectful. So and most importantly, to my son, disrespectful, not to me.
Don't allow that frustration to convince you that you can't go back, because ultimately you have to co-parent, bro.
Yeah, I have to co-parent, but I change how I co-parent. When I say go back, I'm talking on some developing relationship shit. There are certain things that I just fundamentally agree you don't do unless you are okay with these consequences, or unless you feel a certain way. We all have lines in the sand, and it's, you know what this remind me of with your ass, Chief? This remind me when I started talking to you about moms the first time, and you was like, but that's moms though, P. And I was like,
no, right. That was the first thought that came to mind when we had this conversation. I'm like, well, it's easy for him to cut this one off if we could do it on the other hand, but that's not what I want. That's not what I want for justice.
Exactly, and it's not what I want either. But
Yo,
it's a
Prentice,
double
you said
violation.
something. You said something real quick. You said you were disrespected and he was disrespected. I don't know that he knew he was disrespected until you told him he was.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't.
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
So you're naturally, right? Naturally, you're basically carrying emotions for two people.
Yes.
You and Justice, right? As you should. All I'm saying is, I'm just a question. I'm not implying.
Yeah.
Are you, or could you be making this a bigger issue to him than it needs to be, which could potentially prolong his getting back to normal?
Before you answer that, P, that's a good question, because I'm thinking in my head, if I were you, how I would respond. And it would be one of two ways. I wouldn't have said anything and just ate it because it happened and my son trusted me. And remember you and I spoke about that fine line between preserving his trust and allowing him to still feel open and talk to you and come to you with those things, and then having to address it with his moms, because it's something that definitely needs to be addressed. So I would have either just not said anything, or B, let him listen. You're good, but your mom and I have to have this conversation, and deliver it in a way where he understands that we have to have this conversation, and he is not at fault. But I think how you frame that, to Belle's point, has a little to do with the heavy that's on Justice right now.
Yeah. Fuck. And see, this is the other hard part, bro. Like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
None of us do, B.
I know I sheltered him from the rawest of my emotions, right? Like, I know that. I told him, like, I'm not gonna curse your mom out. I'm not gonna say she's a bad person. I'm not gonna disrespect her. I am gonna tell you that that's not what you fucking do with your child. That is what I'm going to tell you. Because what's more important is me teaching you about parenting and fatherhood than preserving her anything in this moment.
More so than you trying to teach him, though, P. He has to see it. He's gonna emulate that. He has to see it. You can't just talk. Think about it. We didn't care about what anybody was telling us. We followed the dudes in the streets, wanted to be like what we saw. We didn't really listen to people who were talking to us.
So when you say he has to see it, what do you like? And I'm not saying this is what you're implying, because I know it's not what you're implying, but see what?
He has to see. He has to observe you handling this situation. He has to witness.
I'm trying.
You're right, but in the process of you handling it, what it's doing is essentially creating more for him than he needs to have at this moment.
So what ended up happening was, he went a couple of days and he came home from school. He was like, Dad, this shit is fucking with my head. It's been on my brain the past 2 days. I'd rather you talk to her about it. I said, are you sure? He said, yeah, I'd rather you just talk to her about it.
Because he knew how you felt. And not that that's a bad thing, but it would have been as simple as, son, I need to talk to your mom. Her and I gonna have this conversation.
But I gave him, but I'm happy about that, because I told him that I wouldn't tell. And he came to this space where he wanted me to talk, and he was scared that she was going to be mad at him. You get what I'm saying? So I feel like on that part, I did right by being like, I'm not going to talk. I'm not going to say anything because you don't want me to, because he was able, and unfortunately it was because he was all emotionally fucked up.
Yeah, but she knows her son. She knows her son. She knew, if once you told her, you knew how you found out. It ain't like he came and told you. She know her son. She know you slipped up, and you know what I mean? Typical teenagers telling on themselves.
Prentice, is there a world where you and her can have a conversation and ask this simple question? Where do we go from here?
There is, and you know what it is right now, man. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. It's 13 years of pent up frustration that makes this moment the icing on the cake for me. It's me thinking about any other thing that I felt was one disrespectful, just in general, right? But I can be disrespected. You get what I'm saying? Like there's 4 women I have children with. I felt disrespect on multiple levels simultaneously. I can be disrespected. But when I feel that you have disrespected my child and in the process, disrespected me in order for whatever you're doing to happen, I don't see myself saying, where do we go from here? Because I've communicated already where we go from here. It's co-parenting only. You get what I'm saying? But with justice, I've left it alone. I don't talk about it no more. None of that. We had the conversation and it's move on. You get what I'm saying?
So in that note, to Bell's point, the conversation is where do we go from here? You need more time.
Yeah.
You need more time.
You're at a place, Prentice, where you just feel, take justice out of it for a second. Like you just feel so disrespected that you can't get past it. Yeah. And that's raw emotion, right? If I'm giving you my objective opinion, friends aside, brotherhood aside, and I mean this with the utmost respect, you're kind of making it about you a little bit. You know what I'm saying? That's my objective opinion about how I'm hearing you. You know, like, and I get it, bro. Like, man, I've said this and I stand on this. There's nobody on the planet that can get you more infuriated than your child's mother. No one. Period.
Absolutely.
So period. I get it.
And that's when they do the little shit. That ain't even when they turn up on them. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right. Like, I get it, bro. But what I'm saying is if there's a world where you could remove yourself from this and because here's the deal, bro. At minimum for 5 more years, she's in your life. At minimum.
Oh, that's what I said to myself and to her. You know what I'm saying? Like that was my response. Yeah. Like, yo, we got 5 years of this co-parenting. Let's go ahead and have this conversation about justice only, but outside of that, we just not gonna do it. And I felt like that was
the thing is, man, like when you said this is pent up, like I that makes sense too. Right? This is a trigger. That makes sense too. This is a trigger for all the times you may have felt wronged or whatever the case, but you had no control. You know what I'm saying? You had no control. Justice was in Florida. He wasn't with you. Exactly you had no control. Now you in the driver's seat.
Right.
Now it's, and again, I'm not trying to oversimplify. It's almost kind of like a flex too.
Yeah. And it's harder. It's harder because I'm in the driver's seat now, having him, and I know the importance of having your parents. You get what I'm saying? Like I know what it can do when you don't. So I'm not in and would never put myself in a position for him not to be fooling with his mom like that. You get what I'm saying? It just destroys trust. So, and how do you co-parent when trust is broken and destroyed? That's my struggle.
Let me give you another scenario. Because you're clearly upset, right? Rightfully so. Right. How upset would you be if he wasn't with you full time?
Nigga.
So it could be worse.
This was when he wasn't. You get what I'm saying? That's why.
No, I understand. But it could be worse.
Yeah, it absolutely could. Yeah. You
see what I'm saying? So it's like, bro, he's still with you 80% of the time, 75% of the time, right? Like you still have control. Like his molding into a man will come from you, right? It'll come from you, for better or worse. For better or worse, we all have traits of our fathers that we don't necessarily like. Chief, my bad, I didn't mean to exclude you from the conversation, but we all have traits from our dads that, you know, are.
We're gonna get an email about that shit.
You know what I'm saying?
Email about that.
My mom's gonna fry y'all niggas, but I ain't tripping.
Hey, y'all nigga, he said it, not me.
But you know what I'm saying? And some of these things, Prentice, are unintentional. right? The unintentional consequences, right, of you trying to do the right thing. But you know what they say, right? That the path to hell is paved with good intentions. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying it's easy, so please hear me clear. But what I am saying is it's necessary for you to get yourself beyond the disrespect.
Yeah.
Because like I said, it could be worse. And I'm not trying to minimize what happened.
Nah, I get it. I get it.
Man.
So Pete, I say this often when I'm talking to people, whatever. I say how we overcome adversity ultimately determines our character. Think about the challenge you've been faced with in the recent couple of years, and how you've handled them, and how much growth you've had from them, and how you've changed as a person versus before. So how you handled that adversity back then created this anger, this pent-up aggression, whatever, and now you're in a much more different place, because when these situations present themselves, you're handling them different now. This moment, because of the pent-up anger, took you back to where you know to that moment. So I think, not that you did anything wrong, but I think you have to be very mindful of how you handle adversity now, because you're now teaching a young man, a young adult, how to handle that.
That's what's making it so much harder, because I am aware. You get what I'm saying? Like, I am aware, and at the same time, I gotta fucking figure out how to process my own emotions while a 13-year-old watches me do it on a daily basis. And that is nothing I am fucking used to doing, how to do. And he's smart. You get what I'm saying?
But
like
being cognizant of that is what's most important, because regardless of what you say, he's going to learn the most from what he sees.
I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
No.
That is why.
That's the fucking problem. Like, I can't just like I hear what you're saying, and I'm just providing like my devil's advocate kind of. It's me, it's my actions, my behavior, but I don't have practice with this magnitude of emotion, right? So not only is he seeing my response, but he's seen me learn how to handle a situation and taking it as how to handle a situation. You get what I'm saying? When it might not be the right fucking way.
So the conversation is what we've all learned now in our adult lives. As we're growing up, we're watching our parents grow as well. We just don't realize it.
I fucking realize it now with my
Prentice.
You know what I'm saying?
Prentice, one, nobody got a blueprint, bro.
Nobody.
Right? Like
nobody, buddy.
This shit is trial by fire. You know what I'm saying? That's one.
Niggas
if I can make a suggestion, man, I think the bigger challenge isn't what just happened. That's what's evoking a lot of these emotions.
I agree with that.
Right? I think what you have to figure out is what you haven't forgiven her for from back in the day, whatever that was. And that's where you got to go first. It's my opinion.
And that's where you start. Because you mentioned it yourself about how things from the past have been built up. And I think because you've gotten them back, you kind of was like, oh, that shit don't matter no more. And then everything is good. And then something comes up and it's like, oh, and you used to, and now, you know what I'm saying? None of that shit you got off your chest. You know what I'm saying?
But that's what the conversation ultimately ended up being, was me unloading 13 years of my fucking and I felt good after. But
you traumatized your son.
I didn't. Well, nigga, come on, man. I didn't do it in front of him.
I'm not saying, but you know what I'm saying? Like, listen, man.
Yo, can y'all niggas be serious?
I'm serious as shit, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to be funny, but I'm saying, like, I think this is the dopest part about the dynamic, because this is rough for us to look at you and go, Pete, you're kind of like creating a lot of this shit. Like, and we can have this open conversation with you, and I think that's the good part about it. But to your point, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I don't even remember the fuck. I don't even remember now, but it's. I know I don't always handle things right, and I want to get better and improve, man. It's just, I think like Bill said, I do need more time, man, because I'm still regardless how anybody else feels about it, I'm still shocked and I'm still very much so angry, upset, frustrated, all that. And you saying go back to the moment, it's like, how do you I really mean this, man. Like, how do you forgive somebody who goes across country with your child? You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, you look at, that's a good
how do
question,
you
right?
do that shit?
You look at the end result, bro.
Yeah, I
like
think
about it, Prentice. Think about it. Think about it like this. And again, not trying to oversimplify it, bro. But if her going across country got you to have justice full time, right? Or her staying and you wouldn't, what would you prefer? Right? Like we say this all the time, right? Visually it may not look how you want it to look, but as long as the destination is the same, it don't matter, right? And obviously there's emotion. I'm not minimizing it, right? There's emotion, and with all of that, I get all of that, right? But we here now, right? Like, we here now, so it's like, yeah, that was a while ago, right? You can chalk it up to whatever you want to chalk it up to or not, but the point is, you're not even listen. The point is, you're not even able to fully enjoy the moment you've been waiting for since she took him cross country, because you're holding her, you're holding on to those, harboring those feelings from when she did. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
he's here, he's back.
Yeah, it definitely, and I think I definitely thought that all was well because I got him, and that just makes everything else just kind of go away. And I didn't foresee a situation that had me reflect and pull the negative emotion out of the reflection. You get what I'm saying? Like, this is the first thing that has me, like you said, like the end that has me like, well, on this one, then fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Prentice, wait, real quick, Chief. All is well, bro. Right? All is well. All isn't bad. Like, all is well.
So P,
yeah,
you said a moment ago, you kind of just let it all out. And
yeah,
you let it all out, and you was hitting it with the and it was out of pure frustration.
yeah.
What, if I may, my suggestion is maybe take that time you need to process all those things, those moments that made you angry, and just have her listen. It'll still feel good. Listen, it'll still feel good to get it out versus having to belt it out of frustration. This is what's going on.
He may not be in a place where he can articulate that now because of the emotion.
No, that's what I'm saying. Take that time and process those thoughts and go back and literally pinpoint specific things that have been on your spirit and weighing you down.
You know when you know who you're dealing with. You know what I'm saying? When there are certain conversations that you just know aren't going to either go well or be received the way you intend them to.
Let me ask you this real quick.
Uh-huh.
Do you feel that way based on how you've always handled those situations? Because she could be thinking the same thing, right?
Which is why I said conversation
I know.
versus
so look,
the bark.
This is what I do know. I know that I am definitely much more emotionally charged than anybody else in regards to this situation. And I absolutely know that my emotions are still the dominant factor that's controlling my perspective. The hard part is these emotions that I have, given the information, I don't see going away.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? But the hard part, let me just finish this part right here. The hard part is that I've been doing all this fucking work, releasing negative energy from my mom, releasing the shit about my dad that I know I don't want to harbor negative energy for anybody else. You get what I'm saying? It's not just if I can not talk to my mom no more and my dad and this, and I cannot talk to anybody. It's that if I can release emotion for them, why would I hold on to it if it's negative for anybody else? And I know that. But I can't necessarily, I just can't get myself to release this shit because on the real, how do I fucking get over? I tried to keep him here and the shit didn't fucking work. You get what I'm saying? Like at the root of it, I'm never going to feel A-okay. You get what I'm saying? Like I can't get them years back. So if you ask me a question to answer your question, I have to split time with Tahir's mom, but I see him every fucking week. I don't have him 85% of the time, but he's with me half of the week. So I'd much rather have had just this half of the week for the last fucking 11 years until I got him when he was 11 than to have him full. Well, no, never mind. Nope. Full time now at 11, 12, 13, absolutely. Never mind. I had to think about what I was saying. I think I had to say it out loud to hear myself. Right. So I'd much rather have him now full time.
I'm going to put this into perspective real quick, P. You make a living talking to people, communicating, presenting. You need to be a better communicator. You're a good speaker. Be a better communicator.
Yeah, I don't know that communication is the challenge. It's the emotion.
He's the master at delivering words.
Yeah, but
it's different when it's
and that is my point. That is exactly my point right there.
If I don't write it, I don't.
So nigga, when I write,
I'm free. You get what I'm saying? Like when I gotta just articulate, it don't come out like it do when I.
So how you gonna give me the advice to write it down, but you won't do it yourself?
Nigga, ain't that the problem most of us have? Like I know that's mine. I'm always giving great ass advice that I don't follow. But my advice be A1 shit that I just can't necessarily get right myself. But that's a fucking mystery of it all.
Well, then there's the clarity on that. But I'm very thankful we walked into this conversation. We had a whole different topic planned, but I'm glad we actually got to support our brother through this process.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, bud. What I did not expect was y'all niggas to be like, "You making this more? This is on you."
But it's perspective, no?
But it really is. But I didn't. I learned
like I thought I was leaving here with some allies.
Yeah, I thought leaving. Let's go, nigga. You trying to? This nigga said, "Hey, bro, you sound like you fucking." So now I'm about to fucking gotta analyze this shit y'all niggas talking about. I should consider this bullshit.
Yeah, man, but that's the point, right? That's the point of this, man. It's like,
damn, but
if we can't hold each other accountable to in some cases some of our bullshit, then who else can?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
and you brought it to us for a reason, and I'm glad we went. You know what I'm saying? Like you brought it to us for a reason because you wanted the feedback, and we telling you what we telling you what we see that you may not.
Yeah. No, I love y'all, man. I appreciate it, but
love you back,
love you more, man.
So how do we? So in rolling into our final thought, P, not your final thought, but tell me how we process moving forward a little bit in regards to this.
I think I got to be realistic with time. I think I like instant results. I like, if I feel my kid is feeling a certain way, the problem with me is that I want to fix it, bro. You know what I mean? But they're people, they're their own people. So you just can't fix people's emotions like that. That ain't you, So I think I need to be patient. Oh, okay. I'm going to say this trying to be honest, not emotionally driven. I think I need to be patient. I think I need to give things time. I still don't fucking see myself changing how the fuck I feel about what the fuck happened. I don't. But I think I don't know, but I'm gonna tell you the truth. Fuck it. I'm trying to be positive, nigga, but I don't feel positive.
With you trying to be positive, be open. Because right now you're convincing yourself that you can't. And Henry Ford said, whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. So, what I'm saying? Like, you gotta.
Prentice said, yeah.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you.
Yeah, but so I'm saying, in your thought process right now, you're like, I can't. And if you think you can't, then you won't.
And I'm okay with that shit.
And that's that's where we're here to tell you.
No,
be open.
Sometimes, man, we get in love with the idea of being angry about the thought or angry about the emotion, and it becomes. You ever start crying unexpectedly and you get mad at yourself for crying, then you start crying more? Yep. You know what I'm saying? That's what you could be doing too. You can be getting,
Yeah.
You getting
I think I know.
enraged about how they did you, she did you, how she tried you, whatever, however you want to phrase it, and then get enraged at the fact that you're getting enraged about somebody trying it. Like almost like, can you believe she did that to me?
You know what I
I
think?
can't fucking believe she did that to me.
Yeah, you
Right.
know what I think I'm doing, man? I think I'm trying not to, I'm not necessarily, I'm working on how much I think about it and not necessarily how I respond emotionally when I think about it. You get what I'm saying? And I think
Yep.
there's a difference in that, like trying to let it go, quote unquote, rather than when it pops in your head, dealing with how that makes you feel. You know what I'm saying? I think I may just be, yeah, I gotta probably deal with it on a level that I haven't done, which absolutely has nothing to do with anybody else. You know?
Here's a level that you haven't dealt with it on. Sitting down speaking to a therapist.
Oh, nigga, yeah.
Boom. Hey, for everybody listen, I sent Prentice the name of 3 therapists, 2 in his town and 1 out here that can do it virtually. He hasn't called any one of them yet. Send him an email. Shoot him, get in, slide in his DM, tell him to call the therapist.
Just saying, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result.
Final thoughts, Bell.
This one was not what's
Final thoughts.
Shit. Oh, fuck.
When feel your pain, but don't let it consume you. You know, because one thing for me, man, and this is way easier said than done. Like we all have to process our emotion, however long it takes for whatever the circumstances is, right? Whatever. I do my best. I'm not perfect. I do my best to process that emotion whenever it's time for me to process it. And put it away. Don't get over it, but put it away, because like I'm a firm, like I don't like people having control over me. You know what I'm saying? And when someone angers me, that I'm allowing them to control my emotion.
Yeah.
And with a spouse, with a parent of your child, is tough. You know what I'm saying? Like my wife, we went through something recently, nothing earth-shattering, but something that got me emotionally charged. So what I did is I harbored on it, and then I just wrote all my gripes down. You know what I'm saying? And then once I was able to do that, that was like a release. You know, again, it's not the same situation whatsoever, but I just do my best to practice that. And it doesn't always work out in real time, and it always doesn't work out in practice as it does in theory, but that's something I do my best to do. So that's my final thought. Like, feel your feelings, process them, but get control back from the person who hurt you.
I think I'm gonna go with a couple points, and I think one would be, don't be afraid to bring your problems, your issues, your whatever. Don't be afraid to bring it to your people and get different perspective. How you overcome those problems will determine your character, so choose wisely. And people teach you how to treat them. Don't ignore the lesson. P.
Damn, man. My final thoughts are it sucks when you kind of think you're handling some shit right and you talk to niggas you fucking care about and they give you valid points that don't feed the perception you currently have. But it's also super beneficial, man. And you know, fuck, man. It's challenging, but I'm gonna get through it. I'll fucking handle it properly.
No one said you handle it improperly, but
nah, but I mean, I got I know I got to get a grip on it emotionally because it's not doing anybody any good. It's only really fucking up me. You know what I'm saying? Like, regardless how intact I try to be, and there's still a child to raise, and there's still a future. So, you know, I don't know. Man. I gotta work it
I
out.
almost spit my water out, yo. Just real quick, do y'all remember like when YouTube first started? It was a dude in the woods.
Unforgivable.
Yeah.
Fucking wolf stars.
You remember that? Yeah, the nigga with the, yeah. Yo, that's a good way to end.
Bitch, you ain't got no brother.
Yo, get off my Zoom, yo. We ended
like,
this.
like,
Yo.
what that smell like? So I was talking to the forest because I wanted some cheeks. Hey, but people are gonna think we fucking wild. You remember that one episode we was talking about what was it, suicide? And then we started laughing at the fucking end about something.
We started the show laughing and ended laughing. But anyway,
yo, that's
Motherfucker,
when you said that. When you said I'll handle it properly. That's what I thought about.
Yo, I like y'all dudes, man.
Yeah.
All right, man. Do us all a favor. Per usual, find us on social media. All Black Men Need Therapy at Gmail. All Black Men Need Therapy on all social media outlets. Do us all a favor and hug a black man today.
Hey, do it, but don't hug my ass. I don't want no fucking hug right now.
And tomorrow.
But nah, for real, do it.
We out, y'all.
Peace.